Hello and welcome to Connect Church. We're so glad to have you with us. My name is Dwayne Hawksworth and I'm the lead pastor here at Connect in Waco. You chose a great day to join us because we're starting a brand new series we're calling Almost True. Everywhere you turn, someone's telling you how to live. A lot of times it's well-intentioned and almost true, but misses the mark in ways that can hurt us. How do we know what's true and will lead us to a meaningful life? Let's seek to answer that question in today's message, The Danger with Your Truth. Before we begin, let me invite you to get connected with us here at Connect Church and perhaps even prayerfully and financially support what we're doing. To connect with us, all you need to do is take your cell phone and text the words Connect Church to 94,000. That's the words Connect Church to 94,000. When you do, you'll receive a link to both connect with us and to give if you'd like. You can also go to our website at connectwaco.com. To connect with us by mail, our mailing address is Connect Church, P.O. Box 4317, Waco, Texas 76715. There'll be a screen at the end of our time together with this information too. Thanks again for joining us, for connecting with us, and for supporting what we're doing here at Connect Church in Waco. Before I bring today's message, our band has a song for you. Thank you again for joining us. I hope you enjoy this week's online celebration. Something I hate is to be lied to. How about you? My guess is we're all the same in that we hate to be lied to. Being lied to is very dishonoring and disrespectful. Lying to someone is treating them as less than. It's one thing to be lied to, but it gets even worse when we believe the lie we're told. Something that's even worse than being lied to is when we lie to ourselves about what's really true. It's painful when we discover we believed a lie. A number of years ago, and for several years, I went through a time of battling a severe depression. I'm so thankful that I have a loving wife that worked hard to help me through that time. She would regularly ask me, "How are you doing today?" wanting to know if I was feeling depressed. Lisa read and researched depression, trying to understand it and find ways to help me. I'll never forget her response to me one day. She asked me, "How are you doing today?" I gave her a response that I'd been saying and feeling for a while. I said, "I'm doing okay, I'm just tired." My sweet and loving wife, who happens to be a Yankee, meaning she'll tell you exactly what she thinks, said to me, "Dwayne, stop lying to me. What you mean when you say you're just tired is you're feeling depressed. That's the number one answer people who are depressed give. I'm just tired. How can I help you if you're not honest with me?" Let me tell you, that was exactly what I needed to hear because that was the truth. That conversation was a significant stage in helping me to get well. I didn't need coddled. I needed confronted. I needed to have the lie I believed about myself confronted with the truth. Today we're starting a brand new message series called Almost True. There are so many beliefs in our culture today that sound true, feel true, and they're almost true, but they're not true. Every day someone's telling you how to live. Friends, advertisements, entertainment, politicians, and yes, even preachers. A lot of times while it may be well-intentioned and almost true, it misses the mark in ways that can hurt us and even send our lives off course. That's why our discussion in this series is so important for us to think about, pray about, and consider. Let me warn you in advance though. If you find yourself not liking what we're talking about in this message series and you find yourself wanting to push back, it's probably for you. Now just like me, you probably hate to be lied to. Unfortunately, we oftentimes find out too late that we've been lied to. We go buy a car and find out that if we sign the paperwork and drive off in our new car, that everything about the car or the deal wasn't the way it was presented to us we'd been lied to. We accept a new job, thinking we understand what we've been hired to do, only to discover that the job isn't exactly everything we were told it was. We feel we've been lied to. We get into a relationship with great hopes of what the relationship will be, that we will be happy and enjoy this person, only to discover there were things they weren't telling us about themselves. We've been lied to. We see advertisements that lead us to believe that our life will be better and more complete if we purchase their product. We will have a better, whatever, we'll be more attractive, we'll be happier, whatever, only to discover after we buy into the lie, we aren't any better off or happier. The entertainment world continually projects lifestyles and life choices that make us feel if we live the same way, we will enjoy the same kind of life and happiness the characters of the show enjoy. Our lives don't have the same scriptwriters as the show, and it never works out that way. We've been lied to. Many of us struggle with the search for truth in life. We ask the question, what is truth? And that's a question that humans have wrestled with since the beginning of time. This is one of the most important questions that we need to answer, especially in our culture today. What is truth? Let's build a working definition for this message series about truth. It's accepted broadly that truth is absolute, constant, and true for everyone, everywhere, all the time. What is truth? For our working definition, truth is absolute, it's constant, and it's true for everyone, everywhere, every time. Yet many people, especially today, confuse truth with perspective, and there is a difference. Truth is absolute, but our perspectives are different, kind of like opinions. Everyone has an opinion of what's true and what's right. Every culture has an opinion or perspective of what is true and what is right. But just like is often said, everyone has an opinion and a nose, and they both smell. And that can be true about our culture too. When those perspectives affect and influence the way we live, we need to make sure they're true and not a lie. When those perspectives affect and influence the way we live, we need to make sure they don't just lead us to destruction or a dead end. Many people, especially today, confuse truth with perspective, and there is a difference, a big difference. Truth is absolute, but our perspectives are different. Perspectives vary. The challenge is, if we confuse truth with our perspective, then we may start to think that truth is subjective. Then we may believe that truth changes over time. If we believe that, then we might start to believe that, well, what's true to you isn't true to me. Therefore, since your truth is unique to you, then you get to determine your truth. If we confuse truth with our perspective, then we may think truth is subjective and changes over time. The result is a philosophy of what's true to me isn't true to you. Since your truth is unique to you, you determine your truth. So the logic goes, if something sounds right to you and feels right to you, it must be true. Now, growing up in the 60s and 70s, I often heard this cultural perspective said, if it feels good, do it. If you believe that your truth is unique to you, then as it said today, speak your truth, live your truth, own your truth, and your truth is your power. Your truth is who you really are. But I want to raise the question, what if your truth is a trap? What if your truth is not really the truth and therefore your truth is a trap? The most important thing to consider in this is that when we complete our life's journey, we don't discover too late that we believed a lie. It's too late to fix it, and you lived your life as a lie. Let's look at what the Bible has to say about truth. It's the question Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Jerusalem, asked when standing face to face with Jesus. Jesus' close follower named John wrote what happened down for us in the New Testament letter we know as the Gospel of John, chapter 18, verses 37 and 38. John writes, Pilate said, "So you're a king?" Jesus responded, "You say I'm a king. Actually, I was born and came into the world to testify to the truth. All who love the truth recognize that what I say is true." What is truth? Pilate asked. Pilate's question is said in a way that seems to state that truth is elusive and unknowable. What is truth? Let me give you two truths about truth. Number one, just because you believe something doesn't make it true. For centuries, everyone believed the earth was flat. It was the prevailing belief that was true. Then they discovered it's not flat, it's round. Recently, some people rediscovered it really is flat. If you believe it's flat, be careful you don't fall off the edge. You see, just because you believe something, whatever it is, doesn't make it true. Let me say that again. Just because you believe something doesn't make it true. Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 12 tells us, "There's a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death." The New King James translation of the Bible says this verse this way, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death." A tragic experience for anyone is to discover we believed a lie, whether it's about ourselves, someone else, or about life itself. Imagine that you're going to take a flight. You're walking up to an airplane. Someone says, "Hey, I feel like I'm a pilot." You respond, "Well, that's a strange thing to say. What do you mean?" He goes, "I feel like I'm a pilot today." "I feel like a pilot?" You ask, "Have you ever flown before?" He says, "Nope, but I feel like I'm a pilot. I believe I'm a pilot. Therefore, I'm a pilot. Plus, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night." Are you going to fly with him? Are you getting on that airplane? I'm not. When you let your feelings determine your truth, you're in trouble, because feelings lie. The Old Testament prophet Jeremiah reveals something about our hearts that we don't like to admit, but it's true. We read it in the book of Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. "The human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is?" Some of us have experienced this in dealing with the hearts of others. Some of us have experienced this in dealing with the reality of our own hearts. With that said, here's the danger with your truth. With your truth, there are no absolute truths that apply to all people. With your truth, morality becomes subjective because right and wrong are relative. With your truth, my perception determines what's true. With your truth, you become the source of truth. With your truth, if it's true to me, you can't question my truth. Determining our own truth makes each of us a know-it-all. And the truth is, we don't know it all. The truth is, I don't know it all. The truth is, you don't know it all either. God's truth doesn't change. However, the truth is, what we want to hear is often different from what we need to hear. The second truth about truth is this. Truth isn't something we believe. Truth is someone we follow. Have you ever gotten directions from someone to a place you've never been before? Or maybe you're following someone in your car to somewhere you've never been before? Don't you hope they know what they're talking about, or they know where they're going, where they're leading you to? I followed someone once who told me they knew where a place was, where we were going, only they didn't know like they thought they knew. We had to stop and reroute several times before we were finally able to arrive at our destination. Another time, we used Siri for directions to visit someone in a city we weren't familiar with. Now, this was a while back and Siri was still fairly new. We followed the directions even though they seemed a bit strange. But I will never forget the scene. As we came to a dead-end road with a large canyon in front of us, Siri told us, "Closest navigable point, please park and proceed on foot." Wait, what? We were not planning on cliff climbing at all. We went to a convenience store that was close by, bought a city map, and quickly found our destination. Who you believe, who you follow matters if you want to arrive at the right destination and make the right choices. One of Jesus' closest followers named John wrote down something Jesus said that is significant for both life here on earth but also for eternity. It's written down for us in the New Testament letter we know as the Gospel of John chapter 14 and verse 6. Jesus told him, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me." Jesus doesn't just know the way. He is the way. Jesus doesn't just call us to believe, but to follow. To follow him means learn his way of living life, of doing life his way. He's not just about how to go to heaven. He's about how we live down here first. You've made good choices and you've made bad choices. We all have. There are things we're glad we did and things we wish we hadn't. One of the most important things we can do when we make bad decisions is to learn from them and try hard not to repeat them. You and I each have an invitation from Jesus to follow him, to learn his way of living life. His way isn't always the easiest way, but it is the best. I've certainly found that to be true in my life and the lives of many others. Following Jesus isn't just praying a prayer and going about life as usual. Sadly, that's what some people think being a Christian is. Following Jesus is about knowing him, talking to him, reading his words in Scripture, the Bible, and learning how to live life. That means how to treat others, including yourself. That means also learning how to love others the right way, not selfishly, but selflessly. Prayer is a great way to talk to Jesus and answer his call to follow him. But that's just the beginning of the relationship, the life partnership. I encourage you to make that choice today. It's the most important decision you'll ever make. We never know when our life's journey will come to an end, and Jesus is the only way to get to heaven. When we follow Jesus, we learn to make better decisions and choices as we learn his way of living. Following him can help us go forward in life with fewer regrets. When we each live life our own way, determining our own truth, we eventually and ultimately end up crashing into everyone else's way of living life and their truth. We need to have the lies we believe confronted with the truth. Truth is absolute. It's constant. It's true for everyone, everywhere, every time. When we fail to follow the truth, we end up with a lie. When we fail to follow the truth, we end up in a destination of destruction and despair. But it doesn't have to be that way. When we follow Jesus, he not only knows the way, he is the way, the truth, and the life. Why not accept Jesus' call to come and follow him? His ways are higher than ours and will lead us to the best life here on earth and the best destination for eternity, a place called heaven.